start with the Cowboys. We got to talk football. So Ceedee Lamb agreed to a new 4-year, $136 million contract with the Cowboys. This deal makes him the second highest paid non-quarterback in NFL history, and it makes Lamb the highest paid wide receiver in Cowboys history. What do you guys think of Ceedee Lamb's new contract? Mike, I'm going to let you go first.
What? I think it was well-deserved, and it took a moment to get here, but I understand what Jerry's doing.
Here we go.
Jerry's doing business too now. Jerry's doing business too. Ceedee Lamb, let me tell you why I say this now. Jerry knows Ceedee Lamb had 1 year left on the contract at $17 million. We have to understand. You understand business on both sides. Ceedee has to do his business. Jerry was doing his business. Jerry said, if I just give you this money, every Joe Smo and Grow gonna run up in here with a year left expecting more money. But if I make the best player on this team, squeeze it out, it'll back some of those guys up. I always knew Jerry and Ceedee would get the deal done. I mean, what is Ceedee going to do? Say, no, don't pay me at $34 million this year. Y'all keep it. I'm gonna wait the next year to get 35 or 36. That would have been the craziest thing in the world to do. So I knew that deal would get done, and it needed to get done. And he's right about where he should be. I know he wanted to get more than Justin Jefferson, and he played greater than Justin Jefferson did last year. He was the #1 receiver in the National Football League. But I think Ceedee ended up perfectly.
Hey, Mike. I think Jerry Jones be paying everybody too much money to really tell the truth. I mean, he gave Dak all that money. I'm not gonna get on your Cowboys this early, but we definitely gonna have to revisit this, Mike. Killer, you want to say something?
Wait. But there's one thing we got to switch in that logic there, because you said Gabe, and there's a little trick that we used to talk about in the locker room. Whenever the brother gets his money, they said, boy, they gave him all that money. But whenever the other kind of people get their money, they said, boy, you see what he earned? Now, I don't know what the little trick is here.
I like that, Mike. I stand corrected.
Ain't nobody gave Ceedee nothing. They earned that money. That's what that is.
Yeah.
They earned that money.
I got to stand corrected.
Well, real quick, before I get to Ceedee Lamb, I want to ask a question, Mike, because in basketball, it's a little different. This is a question about football and football contracts. Football players sign a contract. Then when it's towards the end of their contract, they say, I ain't coming to practice. I ain't coming to the preseason games till I get a new contract, when they're actually under contract still. And they do a holdout. So I know they want an extension, but they still have a year or two or whatever left on the contract. See, in basketball, you're not getting out your contract. You may wind your way to another team and cry and pout, but the contract remains the same. Why is it that when it's towards the end of the contract, they want a new contract before the contract is over, before we get into anything else about the Cowboys? Why is that?
Boy, this is so good, man. We never get to dive into these kinds of questions, because I think this is a perfect question. I've always answered this way, and I think it's absolutely, totally apropos. The reality is, in basketball, contract. What is the contract? My degree is in business. A BMO, business management organization. What is the contract? A contract, by definition, is a binding agreement between two parties. The NFL, they call them contract, but they really one tracks. You see what I mean? They're not contract, they're really one track. Only you, by the NFL standard, is bound, since all of your money is not guaranteed. The NFL is not bound to you. So now we start playing that. Oh, you ain't bound? We ain't bound. I ain't bound. Let's get not bound. You see what I'm saying? Since you're not going to guarantee me that whole deal, and you can cut me whenever you think my performance falls below my check, then that's not a contract. That's not a binding agreement between two parties for the duration of this contract. So since you started cutting people early and not paying them, guys start sitting out and saying, I won't play. Now, I think in basketball, they control the whole league. Yeah, it's a contract, but they can work their way out off of any team.
Right.
I think it's easier in basketball than it is in football.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. In basketball, see, the one thing about basketball that I realized, whether it's James Harden or whoever, James Harden's the most recognizable who gets out of the situations he gets out of.
Right.
But that's why I asked the question, because it was more like, even though he leaves the team, the contract remains the same. Football, and you explained it well. In football, you basically said, but you explain why. Because a lot of the money isn't guaranteed. I sit there, I forget who it is. I think we're talking about him soon, but it's somebody who has zero money left guaranteed. They can earn another $75 million. I forget who it is. We'll talk about it later. But I'm saying, how do you have no more guaranteed money and you have like 2 years left on your contract? So that's why I wanted to ask you that question, because I'm like, it doesn't make a lot of sense, but you gave us a great answer. Nick, you got that footage though?
Once you outplay, once you outplay that money too, you say, hey, y'all look at me, because I know once I fall below that money, y'all gonna look at me anyway.
Right.
So you know what I'm saying?
Right. Exactly.
So yeah, that's how that works.
So before we get into Ceedee Lamb, I want to play something for you real quick, Mike. Nick, do we have that footage available?
Handed it to me.
There we go.
They handed it to me. Put my damn championship on the table. That's all we ask. Put your damn championship on the table, and you couldn't do it. All their asses gotta go.
Mike, come on now, Mike.
Mike, now they get the money. You just said all the asses got to go about 5 months ago. Now you're talking about the money's earned, is deserved. This is your temperament every February and every September. We get this Michael Irvin in September, and then we get that Michael Irvin in February. What happened to all the asses got to go, Mike?
Yeah, Mike. You knew we was going to do our homework.
Because you know what? What I learned too, honestly, man, what I've learned being a fan, and when I stopped playing, being a fan, this is a hell of a roller coaster. I mean, it's a hell of a roller coaster, buddy. I mean, you know, you're pulling for your team and you're so excited. Yeah. And then they play hard. They play like a hot piece of nothing. And you're like, man, I'm done with that. I got to stop taking my emotions up there. You know what I mean? And then back by Thursday, you're right back on it again. I came to the conclusion that all we do, all right, if it goes bad, you divorce them on Sunday. But Thursday morning, before that Thursday night game, you're right back at the altar saying, I do again. I do. You know what I'm saying? So, it's just a cycle you go through. And listen, after that game, I heard those guys say, you know, man, I guess we were beat. I guess we were tired. I said, what the hell you mean tired? This is the playoff. What do you mean worn out? Jimmy Johnson, before, when we started the playoffs, you know what he was making? He would make everybody stand out in the meeting room. He would say, listen, I want every man in here. I want every man to know he better be willing to hang from a tree by his you-know-what for these next 4 weeks to get this championship. And nobody was tired. Why would you be tired going into that playoff game? Why, when you are the Dallas Cowboys, you're the only home team to lose that week? Why is that? Why do I have to watch my quarterback and my receiver get mad early on an early play and not get back together and get that right? Why do I have to watch that? So yeah, I wanted all their asses gone at the time. But then I got right back at the altar and said, I do. You know what I'm saying? We got good players. Dude, we got the players, and I always say this, we got the players with the skill. But they gotta have a collective will. And that's where Dallas is suffering right now. They gotta have a collective will. And when I see things like I saw in that playoff game, when Dak misses Ceedee Lamb early and Ceedee and Dak is not getting together, my first thought was, wait a minute, it's too early in the game to be that mad, Ceedee. Well, so this shit must have came in this game with y'all. I was sure would have fixed this before you got in the game. You see what I'm saying? It's too early in the game to be that mad. I don't know what it was. I want to find out what it is, and I'm going to try to find out what it is to make sure it doesn't come in anymore this season. But yeah, I was upset. I was awfully upset.
Good cover up, Mike. I like it. It was just good, man. They know they
He
can't.
went therapeutic.
Yeah,
He did everything.
They might as well never put Mike on the stand. He gonna spin his way right off the stand. That's a good answer, man.
Hey, wait a minute, dog. You know, hey, don't be. I'm calling me out now. You know, they got a lot of practice on that stand.
So